Hey, welcome to this video. My name is Brian, and today in this video we're going to be talking about what I learned from cold calling 200 plus law firms. And this is the unfiltered breakdown. Well, basically I've literally seen all there is to calling people. I've seen all the responses receptionists could give you. I've seen all the different types of receptionists. There's a lot of stuff I've seen, but yeah, I know a thing or two. But let's jump right into it. So I've been testing voice AI for law firms. This is the offer that I've been sending out cold calling. And as you can see, I'm not lying on you on this. 200 plus calls, and these blue boxes are there for privacy reasons. But yeah. So the four main approaches I've seen for law firms taking calls would be first a receptionist and an IVR system, and then there would also be a voicemail, and lastly a direct attorney line. So a receptionist would be the first contact point for leads, and arguably this is like the most important part, because literally your receptionist, the way they act will literally represent your whole brand. So it's important to get you that nailed down. And yeah, receptionists were the most common approach I've seen, and some were chill, some were not. I mean, here's a story for you. I was calling this law firm in the morning, and then, you know, I spoke too slow, or I spoke like unclear, and then out of nowhere she just started like yelling at me for no reason. Like I didn't even pitch or anything, but it's whatever. So what worked was I really enjoyed it when speaking with a receptionist that was upbeat, and they explained each step that they were taking. So what that would look like is, like, if they were taking down my info, they would say something like, hey, we logged down your info and we're going to pass it along to an attorney later. So, and you know, it gives me closure and clarity that, okay, this is what they're going to do, instead of me like not knowing what's going on behind the scenes. And as if I was a client there, or like potential client, it gives me the ease. It gives me the ease because I know what's going on behind the scenes. But yeah, what I didn't like was people who had low energy. They had really quick intros, and they didn't even say their name, and especially the people who had high egos. Low energy is pretty obvious. Like, no one wants to talk to someone like that. And quick intros, and no names, like there wasn't that personalized feeling, or I didn't feel that connection with the speaker. But yeah. And then here we have IVRs, which is interactive voice response. And these people were like less common. Roughly around 30% of calls I had were led to IVRs. And you know, some of them were long menus with 7+ options. Some of them didn't even let me contact a human, which is strange. But IVRs, they filter case types, and they allow you to contact an attorney. What worked on my end was I could sometimes contact attorneys, but what didn't work was some of the IVRs were so robotic that I had such a hard time hearing. I had to put my phone up to my ear. This would be really bad for someone who's not a native speaker. They would have like not know what a single thing they're saying. And then there's also voicemails. So that's one issue I'm gonna touch up on later. But when I tried to use an IVR system to contact an attorney, I probably just went straight to voicemail. Most of the time though. Okay. And yeah, voicemails. This took up around 30 to 40% calls, and due to the fact that a lot of the attorneys or receptionists were too busy to pick up. And what worked with voicemails is that it's a pretty short and low pressure method for people to like leave a message or just talk to an attorney or firm. But what didn't work in my end was I had the feeling that like it was not going to be opened. I felt unheard, and I probably felt like I was just going to call another firm. But yeah, and here's the thing: even though I cold called these firms, I kind of still have the experience of a potential customer would have. So this is just me speak from my experience. And yeah, so attorneys, this was really rare for me to call a law firm and it would be the attorney who picks up right away. But yeah, these guys speak very fast. They're very highly analytical, and they're very time reserved, and they're very direct. So my experience with follow-ups from missed calls would be I only got like five follow-ups total from like 200 calls, or maybe 30% of them went to missed calls or no pickup, and then I only got like 5 follow-ups. That is really low and concerning. Three of those follow-ups were SMS text messaging, like saying, "Hey, what's going on?" And then the other 2 were actually phone calls. So what I respected from some of these law firms was that their systems felt premium. They felt structured. The onboarding and everything, it felt like, yeah, this is smooth. It's like I could sleep while talking to them. Everything was set out. And then I also really enjoyed speaking to the helpful receptionist. They really led a good impression on the whole firm for me. And then I really respected the callbacks I received. This just means that like they saw that my missed call was worth calling, and I also really respected callbacks because everything felt personalized. So what could be better? So from my experience, a lot of the firms that I talked with, they're basically leaking leads from missed calls and bad systems. And also, some of the receptionists were kind of rejecting legit value because they were trained to avoid all sales or solicitation. Like, I was just offering like a free demo for an voice AI agent, and I get it. They're trained to avoid them, but then, saying yes all the time isn't good, but saying no all the time isn't good either. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I get it. And then there's also the sketchy receptionist that I really didn't enjoy talking with, especially that one lady. Okay, so how can AI fit here? And I know a lot of law firms, these guys are really old school, old farts. They do everything by the book. If there's a new tech in society, these guys are like probably the last to adopt it. But yeah, there are 3 main ways voice AI specifically could be implemented into law firms. That would be a full-time receptionist that works 24 hours, and then there would be like an after-hours agent that only works after hours, and a follow-up agent that like does either SMS or phone calls follow-ups. There's 2 ways voice AI can be implemented, and that would be either inbound or outbound. So the inbound is when the agent receives the call, and outbound is when the agent sends out the call or text messages for a follow-up. So the most common struggles that I've noticed from my cold calls is that high call volumes will equal long wait times, and this is not good, especially if you got like clients on the line. Missed opportunities due to after-hours inquiries. So some people, especially for personal injury law firms, I know they receive calls in like the middle of the night, but sometimes there's not always someone working in the middle of the night. So that's where AI could hop in. There's also inefficiencies in lead qualification and appointment scheduling. And the worst of all, they rarely follow up. So why would you implement AI to take calls for you? So AI can capture missed leads, which will in turn mean more cases. So previously, what was missed calls or voicemails? Instead of that, you could just have an AI that picks up directly. It also works 24 hours as an intake assistant, so that means 0 downtime. It costs a fraction of a virtual assistant or a staff, which can save you like 30 grand per year. AI can follow up faster on calls, which will also mean higher conversions. And like a cool thing is, if a law firm does online web forms, as soon as the potential client enters out the form, an AI can literally call up within 5 minutes. And first of all, you will be way faster than your competitors, and second of all, your chances of closing or like booking an appointment on the spot is much higher because they're already like nurtured or something like that. And yeah, in the end, it all comes down to more cases. That's really why you should only be implementing voice AI or any AI, or saving time. That's the second reason. But yeah, thank you for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and took a lot of value from it. I look forward to posting more videos about AI for law firms and my experience or my journey. But yeah, hope you have an amazing rest of your day. See you guys.